The Duke of York's own Loyal Suffolk Hussars was a yeomanry regiment of the British Army from 1794 to 1961, originally formed as a volunteer cavalry in 1794. The Suffolk Yeomanry was again raised as the Loyal Suffolk Hussars and fought in the Second Boer War as part of the Imperial Yeomanry. In the First World War they fought at Gallipoli, Palestine and the Western Front. They were subsequently converted to artillery, serving in this role during the Second World War North Africa, Italy and France. In 1961 they were amalgamated with the Norfolk Yeomanry to form the Suffolk and Norfolk Yeomanry. History, formation and early history. The regiment was formed as volunteer cavalry in 1794, during the French Revolutionary Wars. A yeomanry regiment was continued in Suffolk under the name the Loyal Suffolk Hussars, and from 1892 the Duke of York was honorary colonel, allowing the regiment to add the Duke of York's own to the name. Following the outbreak of the Second Boer War, yeomanry regiments all over the United Kingdom were mobilized as part of the Imperial Yeomanry fighting in South Africa. A company of the Loyal Suffolk Hussars first left Southampton on the 31st of January 1900, bound for Cape Town. First World War. In accordance with the Territorial and Reserve Forces Act 1907, which brought the Territorial Force into being, the TF was intended to be a home defense force for service during wartime, and members could not be compelled to serve outside the country. However, on the outbreak of war on the 4th of August 1914, many members volunteered for Imperial service. Therefore, TF units were split in August and September 1914 into first-line and second-line units. Later, a third line was formed to act as a reserve, providing trained replacements for the first and second-line regiments. 1/1 of a stone. Duke of York's own Loyal Suffolk Hussars. The 1/1 of a stone was embodied in August 1914 at Bury St. Edmunds and became part of the Eastern Mounted Brigade, 1st Mounted Division. In September 1915, they were dismounted and moved to the Anzac Bridgehead at Gallipoli and came under the command of the British 54th Division. After they were withdrawn from Gallipoli, they moved to Egypt in December 1915, the first party being evacuated to Mudros on the 14th of December and the rest following 5 days later. They were next attached to the 3rd Dismounted Brigade on Suez Canal defences from the 22nd of February 1916. In January 1917, they were converted to an infantry battalion and formed the 15th Battalion, the Suffolk Regiment in the 74th Division, which moved to France in May 1918. 2/1 of a stone. Duke of York's own Loyal Suffolk Hussars. The second-line regiment was formed in 1914, and by January 1915 it was in the 2/1 of a stone Eastern Mounted Brigade at Ely. On the 31st of March 1916, the remaining mounted brigades were ordered to be numbered in a single sequence. The brigade was numbered as 13th Mounted Brigade and joined 4th Mounted Division in the Wivenhoe area. In July 1916, the regiment was converted to a cyclist unit in 5th Cyclist Brigade, 2nd Cyclist Division, still in the Wivenhoe area. In November 1916, the division was broken up and regiment was merged with the 2/1 of a stone Norfolk Yeomanry to form 7th Yeomanry Cyclist Regiment in 3rd Cyclist Brigade, in the Ipswich area. In March 1917 it resumed its identity as 2/1 of a stone Suffolk Yeomanry, still at Ipswich in 3rd Cyclist Brigade. By July 1917 the regiment had moved to Woodbridge. In May 1918 the regiment moved to Ireland and was stationed at Boyle and Collooney, still in 3rd Cyclist Brigade, until the end of the war. 3/1 of a stone. Duke of York's and Loyal Suffolk Hussars. The 3rd Line Regiment was formed in 1915, and in the summer it was affiliated to a reserve cavalry regiment in Eastern Command. In 1916 it was dismantled and attached to the 3rd Line groups of the East Anglian Division at Halton Park, Tring. Early in 1917 the regiment was disbanded and its personnel were transferred to the 2nd Line Regiment and the 4th Battalion of the Suffolk Regiment, at Halton Park, between the wars. Prior to the Second World War, the Suffolk Hussars was amalgamated with the Norfolk Yeomanry and converted into 55th Anti-Tank Regiment, Royal Artillery. By 1939 it became clear that a new European war was likely to break out and, as a direct result of the German invasion of Czechoslovakia on the 15th of March, the doubling of the Territorial Army was authorized, with each unit and formation forming a duplicate. Consequently, the 65th Anti-Tank Regiment, Royal Artillery, was formed as a duplicate. In 1942, the Suffolk batteries of each regiment were concentrated in the 55th Anti-Tank Regiment, Royal Artillery. Second World War, 49th Infantry Division, July 1943 – August 1945. From July 1943 until after the end of the war, the regiment served with the 49th Division and fought in the northwestern Europe from June 1944 to May 1945. Between 1944 and 1950, Brian Gooch served as brevet colonel of the regiment. Post-war, during the major reorganization of the Territorial Army that took place in 1967, 202 Battery, Royal Artillery, was formed out of the old 308 Regiment Royal Artillery. The new battery became part of 100 Regiment Royal Artillery. At the time the battery was equipped with the BL 5.5-inch medium gun. In 1980 the battery re-equipped with the 105mm light gun, then to the much larger FH-70 155mm gun in 1992. On the 1st of July 1999, the battery yet again began re-rolling as an air defense battery affiliated to 12th Regiment Royal Artillery in Paderborn, Germany, with the lightweight multiple-launcher high-velocity missile system. On the 2nd of July 2006, 202 Battery Royal Artillery re-rolled to become 677 Squadron Army Air Corps, part of 6th Regiment Army Air Corps. As part of the changes to the order of battle under Army 2020, the detachment at Swaffham closed in January 2014, and from the 1st of April 2014 the suffix was removed from all Territorial Army titles, as the Territorial Army became the Army Reserve. 677 Squadron Army Air Corps is part of 6th Regiment Army Air Corps, with squadron headquarters and A flight at Bury St Edmunds, B flight at Norwich and C flight at Ipswich. Battle Honours. The Suffolk Yeomanry has been awarded the following battle honours: Second Boer War, South Africa 1901, First World War, Somme 1918, Bapaume 1918, Hindenburg Line, EPE Acute HY, Pursuit to Mons, France and Flanders 1918, Gallipoli 1915, Egypt 1915–17, Gaza, Jerusalem, Tel Asur, Palestine 1917–18, Second World War. None awarded to artillery. The Royal Artillery was present in nearly all battles and would have earned most of the honours awarded to cavalry and infantry regiments. In 1833, William IV awarded the motto Ubique in place of all battle honours. Bibliography. James Brigadier. British Regiments 1914–18. London, Samson Books Limited. ISBN 0-906304-032. Milam, Patrick. The Yeomanry Regiments, 200 Years of Tradition, Edinburgh, Canongate Academic, ISBN 1898410364. Rinaldi, Richard A. Order of Battle of the British Army 1914. Ravi Rikai, ISBN 9780977607280.